My name's Ed Edwards. I'm the writer of the play, Ordinary Decent Criminal. The play is based on my own experience of jail. It's based on people I met in jail, and it's based on stories I heard in jail. But, of course, all the characters are fictional, seriously. They sort of start based on something I might have known about someone or a conversation I had with someone, and then from there, it just all takes off and becomes something completely different. So even though it might start with a Scouser who's a white Muslim who's the biggest dealer in the jail, by the end, he's completely not the person that I had that conversation with, if you know what I mean. So, so it's a true story, but no, it's based on real events rather than being a true story. Things that happened to me in jail or things I heard about in jail, the stories you hear in jail, found their way into my work obliquely, but I'd never written about that actual experience. And then one day I just thought I should probably just try and write a little bit about that, and wrote 15 pages. And when Mark said, "Oh, I want to do another play by you," I had 15 pages. And so I sent it to him and he said, "Yes, this is it." And then I thought, right, okay, I've got to turn those 15 pages into a whole play now. And that's the hard bit, really. It's, you know, I've got loads of 15 pages, act ones, you know, which is really easy to write. It's great. You don't have to pay anything off. You can just set everything up, have a bit of a laugh. And then, you know, the shit hits the fan and you have to make an actual play with actual stories, beginning, middle and end, 5-act structure, character, story. What does it mean? Yes, so that's the play. Theatre is so much better than screen because you can still change it. Right up to the first night, you can change it. You sit there and you see it land. You see every joke. If they don't laugh at the jokes, you think, well, we'll get that right tomorrow. Or, okay, that's not working, what we're going to do, let's change it. We have a conference, try it the next night, people laugh. But you can feel the audience getting it. And there's one more thing to say about that. I'm going to talk about Tolstoy, which is going to make me sound like a dickhead, but Tolstoy has this idea that the idea of art is that you communicate with the past, with the present, with everybody. Everybody can connect to a feeling that the author creates or an artist creates. And in so doing, the audience connects with themselves and with the world and forgets that they are an individual person and has that connection to humanity and the world. And that is art. That's Tolstoy's idea. And I really feel that sometimes, you know, if I'm given a note and I try and make it work and I'm trying to fix something and it's just not working, and then I stand back and think, okay, so what is the truth of this? What was in my past, my experience that would really answer that without having a line that just says it? And I get that, and it's about the feeling. And Tolstoy says, if the author can communicate the feeling that he's got, or she, Tolstoy always talks about that. So Tolstoy says if a writer can communicate the feeling they have while they're writing it to an audience, while they're viewing it, they have been infected by the art. And the infection is the thing that connects them to humanity and makes them feel that the idea is their own and that they could have had it, and this is something they always knew but couldn't put into words. And that is what Tolstoy says is art. And I really think that if you're sitting in a theatre and it's working, and you've done your job, and the director's done the job, and the actor's done the job, and you've made it real and authentic, that's what happened. And when I'm sitting in the audience, you know, at the back, so I can see how it all's going, and that's happening, that's worth so much for me. And I follow the play around the country so I could get that feeling, you know. Why do I write? I write because I have to. And I stop writing. Every so often I hate it. I wrote for television for a while and it made me miserable. And it made me rich for a very short period of time. I was like, wow, getting checks through the post. That shows you how long ago it was. no bank transfer. So I'm getting checks through the post. This is great. 2 years later, I'm miserable, stressed to the max, and I don't do it anymore. But then I start writing again. And then I get miserable about that, and I stop again. And then I just start. So as soon as I get miserable, I stop. And then I find, oh, now I can write because I've stopped doing whatever it was that wasn't real or wasn't authentic or made me miserable or whatever. And then as soon as I stop, I can write again because I have to. It's the only thing I can say is I write because I have to. Don't know why. Strangeways had a reputation for being a hellhole, and it got burnt to the ground, and they changed the prison system. And I was lucky enough to be in a jail they regurgitated into a liberal environment, and I had a cell to myself. That was a brief period of history where they tried to make prisons half decent, and I landed on my feet and wrote a novel and a children's book and sat in an education class for 2 years, access to a computer. My pad was full of books, and, you know, I calculated it was like 60 grand writing grant. So, you know, I was lucky. That was the prison. That was the liberal prison experiment, which was short-lived and went away again. My advice to writers is don't bother. No, seriously. If you're going to write, 3 things, and they're all from Tolstoy, okay? Be detailed. Detailed. So don't make stuff up about general, you know, try and make it absolutely specific. Tolstoy says there are 3 ingredients to connecting with an audience in the way we spoke about before. 3 simple ingredients. Be detailed. So if it's not your life, go out and talk to people, get some details. So detailed, clear. You read Tolstoy, it doesn't use big words. There's almost no big words. Don't show off, you know, just be clear and be sincere. And this is connect with your feelings, put your feelings into the play and try and, if you're detailed, clear and sincere, as in you evoke the feeling that you're feeling while you're writing so that the audience connected. That is it, the 3 things. Then you will be able to write like Tolstoy.